So do you have any pet peeves that just drive you crazy? Well, we're going to talk today about the pet peeve of somebody eating with their mouth open. Okay, so principle-based living is all about understanding and recognizing that there are principles or laws that govern this world in which we live. It's also about understanding that everything we do for a reason, or we wouldn't do it. And so really this is about helping you take control over your life and to be able to achieve the level of happiness that you want in your life. So we're going to do a series of videos here, and we're going to talk about a lot of different pet peeves that people have shared with me that really bother them. In this particular video, we're going to talk about a person eating with their mouth open. Now that may or may not be a pet peeve that you have. So what is a pet peeve? So a pet peeve is something that someone else or a situation or a circumstance that really bothers me and causes me to feel some level of irritation or annoyance or anger or whatever it may be. So let's talk about that for a minute. Everything we do for a reason, or we wouldn't do it. So we understand that. The second thing is we have to look at the foundational principles. And again, a principle is a law that governs this world in which we live. And it's a law that operates all of the time, whether we understand it, whether we know about it, whether we agree with it. It's still there and operating, just like gravity. So the foundational principles that govern our life are accountability, choice, and control. So oftentimes in life, when we feel out of control, or when we feel that other people are doing things that we think shouldn't be done, then that's when we have a thought or a feeling connected with that behavior. So let's back up then now and figure out, how do the things that we think are normal and appropriate and the way that things should be, where do those beliefs come from? So when we're born into this world, we really come into this world without much knowledge about anything. I mean, we don't really know what sounds mean. We don't know what words mean. We don't know how we're supposed to behave or what we're supposed to do. But throughout our life experience, we become conditioned as to what is normal. And the more things that we experience in life that go on around us, we begin to accept that that's the way the world is. And so oftentimes we're conditioned primarily by the home that we grow up in. And so what our parents teach us and the behaviors of our siblings. We now live in a society, though, where we're exposed to the beliefs and the behaviors of other people much more so than in years past, because we have television and social media and all of those things. So we get exposed to that. But what happens in life is that we have events that occur, and that can be something that happens to us, something that we observe. It can be words. It can be anything that happens. And what we need to remember and to know is that in and of itself, these events that happen, they have no meaning. They don't mean anything. They're just events that happen. And they don't have meaning until we attach a meaning to them with our thoughts. And then we get conditioned in life. We have thoughts about, well, this is good, this is bad, this is the way things are supposed to be, this is the way things are not supposed to be. And you can think about almost anything in your life of things that you like versus things that you don't like, from, the style or type of clothes that you wear, to the food that you eat, to the type of entertainment that you enjoy, the way that people should behave, in private, the way that people should behave in public. All of that, all of those types of things are just ideas or preferences or beliefs that have been learned. And again, if we grow up in an environment or a home where this is the way that things are done, and that's all we see, then generally we begin to believe that that's the way the world is. And then, so we could take an example of, well, we'll just take this one of eating with your mouth open. So if I grow up in a family where my parents have a belief that it's poor manners to chew with your mouth open or to talk with your mouth full, then that's probably something that they're going to pass on to their children. So if you're a young child and as you're growing up and you're learning how to eat and to feed yourself and you're eating at the dinner table and you're chewing with your mouth open, then your parent is probably going to say to you, you need to keep your mouth closed when you're chewing, and don't talk with your mouth open. But what if I grew up in a home where the parents didn't have that as a value for them, and it didn't bother them if people chewed with their mouth open because nobody had ever taught them that. And so they just think that it's normal to chew kind of loudly, and maybe they think that's normal, and it's actually cool if you can hear somebody chewing their food. So now you've got two different situations, both of them learned. And the other thing that's important to remember is there's basically two parts of our brain. There's the conscious and the subconscious. 90% of our day or our time, we're operating out of the subconscious part of our brain, which means we're not really aware. And so all of the information that's coming in is being processed through our subconscious. And the way that our subconscious works is it doesn't question anything. It just accepts the information that's coming in, accepts that it's true, and then it looks for evidence to support it. So if I grew up in a home where it's okay to eat with your mouth open, then because that's what my parents do and they don't teach me to do anything different, then I begin to create the belief that this behavior is normal. And that's the way that it should be. And as long as I'm eating meals at home with my family, I never even question this belief about how to eat or how to chew your food, because that's all I know. It's not until I get exposed to something different than what I know that there even becomes a question that, there are people that do things differently than what I do. So now the question comes, so I've been conditioned or I've been taught that this is what's normal, and I think that this is what's normal. When I now experience a new event, so now let's say I sleep over at my friend's house or I eat dinner over at my friend's house, and I go to their house and I'm used to eating with my mouth open, and now I go into their family and they're all eating with their mouth closed. Well, first of all, I may not even notice that. But if I'm in the family where I've been taught that it's only appropriate to eat with your mouth closed, then I'm definitely going to notice somebody coming into our home who is doing something different than what we're doing. Now, what happens in that situation? Maybe the family doesn't say anything to you, and so there's no effect on you. You don't even notice that there's anything different. But what if they tell you, don't you know you're not supposed to eat with your mouth open? Now, depending on where I'm at in my own life and how secure I am in myself, then that information from somebody else can have a totally, completely different effect on me. But in and of itself, that event, again, means nothing until I put thoughts to that. So if they tell me that, don't you know you're supposed to eat with your mouth closed, now I can begin to think, oh, maybe there's something wrong with me because I didn't know that you were supposed to eat with your mouth closed. And so because I don't know, then that must mean something about me, instead of realizing that, no, this is just something that has been learned. So does that make sense? Again, it means nothing until we put thoughts to it. So let's say though that I've been conditioned and I've been raised in a family where good manners are eating with your mouth closed. So that's just what I'm used to. Whenever I'm around somebody then that eats with their mouth open, if I feel irritated or annoyed or angry, I may think that the reason that I'm experiencing those feelings or those emotions is because of the behavior of this person. So I'm feeling angry, irritated, or annoyed because this person is eating with their mouth open. Is that true? Am I feeling these emotions because of their behavior? It's not true, remember, because this behavior in and of itself means nothing. It means nothing until I attach meaning to it. So it's this behavior plus my thoughts about the behavior that equal the emotion that I'm experiencing. So here's the cool thing about that. If I'm feeling irritated or annoyed or angry, why am I doing that? Well, the truth is because I'm choosing to. So another way that you could look at it is you could say, well, because I want to. But then you may say, well, no, I don't want to be angry, irritated, or annoyed. I want them to stop doing the behavior that they're doing because they're doing something that is wrong based on my conditioning. So they shouldn't do that. And that's the behavior that's causing this. Well, again, if I was raised or conditioned in a family where it was okay to eat with your mouth open, then if I'm around this person, I'm not going to feel irritated or annoyed or angry. I'm going to just think that that's normal behavior and I may not even notice it. So here's the thing. If this is my pet peeve and I think that the problem exists over here, the problem is the person that is eating with their mouth open, then if that's true, if that's the case, then who's in control of the situation? Is it me or is it them? Well, can I make that person stop eating with their mouth open? Do I have the ability to control them and make them to stop doing that? I don't. So if my belief is that their behavior is causing this emotion, then they're in control of me. And there's nothing that I can do about it because the principle of control says that I control only three things. And that's my conscious thoughts, it's my emotions, and it's my behaviors. I can't control anything else. So I can't control another person's behavior. But I can control my thoughts. And if I can change my thoughts, my emotion will change. So could it be possible that I could think differently about this behavior than what I've been conditioned to think? Now, right off, you may think, well, no, because it's just obvious, that that people shouldn't do that. But whether I believe that or not, so again, that's a belief, and a belief drives my behavior. So if I believe that I can't change my thoughts, I'm probably not going to change my thoughts. But then I'm going to continue going around being irritated or annoyed whenever somebody's eating with their mouth open. So the best thing to do then is at least take accountability and say, the reason I'm feeling this emotion is because I'm choosing to, because I want to. And at least then again, that puts me back in control because I know this is a choice. It's not something that's happening to me. So I hope this has helped you. And we're going to talk about some other pet peeves too. But if one of yours is people eating with their mouth open, well, I've shared with you what you can do to change that up. Now, the question is, do you want to? And nobody can make you do anything. Again, the principle of control. So if you want to be annoyed at people who eat with their mouth open, then be annoyed, and that's okay. But to empower yourself, just recognize that you're choosing that. So I want to feel this way because I think this shouldn't be the way that it is. And what I'm really doing is arguing with reality because whether it should or shouldn't, it is. So Byron Katie in Loving What Is just says that all frustration, all anger, all disappointment comes from thinking things should be different than they are. But if they're that way, then that's just what they are. So again, the way to empower you to put control back over your life is to recognize what you have control over, what you don't have control over, focus on the things that you do have control over, and let go of the things that you don't. So thanks for watching today. Hopefully you found this information helpful to you. If you have some pet peeves of your own that you're struggling with and would like help on figuring out how to deal with that, well, put it in the comments below. And if you like what we're teaching and what we're doing, visit our website at principlebasedliving.com. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. And if you're watching this on LinkedIn, make sure to follow me here.